If I don't have ginger in my produce drawer at home, I feel like I'm bereft. I don't know what to do. I'm like, I can't cook anything. I don't have ginger. Hi guys, welcome back to the pantry edition of Everyday Food. And today's pantry item that we're focusing on is marinara sauce. It's really, really useful for things like making pasta, baked pastas, spaghetti, all of the things that you normally think about. But today's recipe is a little bit different. It's a spiced shrimp recipe, and the flavor profile is enhanced with a little bit of Garam Masala, which is an Indian spice mix. Really fragrant, a mix of sweet and savory spices, so it really lends something nice to this dish. The shrimp is going to be seasoned with that garam masala and some salt and pepper, very, very simply. But because it's a spice mix, it brings a lot of different spices to the table. Garam masalas can have a range of ingredients, and every brand is slightly different, so you'll definitely need to find your favorite. I think that you'll love it in this dish, and you'll find it kind of unique. We have a lot of recipes on the site that use marinara as a jumping off point that are not just pasta recipes. It's super versatile. Sometimes I'll stir some into a saute just to enhance the flavor, especially like say I don't have tomato paste and a recipe calls for tomato paste. I might use a little bit of marinara instead. Because it has a similar, it's made out of the same stuff and it sort of can accomplish the same thing. Some ginger, fresh ginger. You can peel it or not. I'm going to peel this because I can see that the skin of this one is going to be a little bit thick, so I'm going to peel it using the edge of my spoon. The thinner the edge of your spoon, the better this trick works. Not as easy if your spoon is thick. You can of course also use a peeler, but this gets minced. You need a tablespoon and a cup of this minced onion. So those two things will be sauteed before you add your sauce. So you're enhancing the flavor of the marinara with a slightly different flavor profile. And you'll be really interested, I think, to realize how good those flavors all go together. The garam masala. I did say that this was shrimp, right? Did I say that? Okay. All of a sudden I'm like 40 minutes into taping and I'm like, did I say what this was? Ginger is my favorite. If I don't have ginger in my produce drawer at home, I feel like I'm bereft. I don't know what to do. I'm like, I can't cook anything. I don't have ginger. This is going to be served with some scallion sliced. I'm serving this on couscous. You could serve it on rice or, any grain you want. But you can stir some of these scallions into the still warm couscous or rice if you wanted to enhance the flavor of that rice. And if you had some cilantro on hand, you could stir some of that into the rice too. I love cilantro rice. So fragrant. Lastly, while I'm here, I'm going to season my shrimp. It's a pound of shrimp with 2 teaspoons of garam masala. Oh no, 2 teaspoons seems like a lot to me. I might do 1.5 teaspoons. I was going to say I can always stir some in at the end. And actually you can. Garam masala often is stirred in at the end as a flavoring where you might start off by toasting some spices. You might stir some garam masala in at the end. So okay, I'm going to do 1.25 teaspoons. So let's cook. This is a large skillet. I'm adding a tablespoon, that's actually a little more than a tablespoon of ghee. You can use a neutral oil if you wanted to. You could use regular butter, but I'm cooking on a high heat, and ghee is great for cooking on high heat because it doesn't have milk solids in it, and milk solids are what burns in the bottom of the pan. So ghee's super really convenient. So I'm gonna add these shrimp seasoned side down into the pan. I'm gonna try to do it quickly because they cook really quickly. And then I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit more seasoning on the other side because I realized I only seasoned one side. Oh my God. Okay, so you want to cook these through, but not too much. So almost as soon as you finish adding them to the pan, you can start turning them over to cook the other side. Basically in the order that you add them into the pan. It usually only takes like 2 or 3 minutes to cook shrimp. And these, I guess they're large, but they're on the small side of large, so they'll cook even more quickly. Shrimp like chicken breast, like a thin chicken breast, like a chicken cutlet, cook super duper duper quickly. And the key is you don't want to overcook them. So a high heat is actually preferable in my opinion because they cook really, you get like a little bit of like sear on the outside, which is great for flavor. So they're not completely cooked through, but they're starting to curl. So I'm gonna take them out of the pan and transfer them to a plate and set them aside so I can get my sauce ready, and then they'll just go back in really briefly at the end to heat through. This dish could not be any faster. Buy peeled shrimp, makes it super duper convenient. Okay, before anything in the pan has a chance to burn, add your ginger and your onion with a little bit more fat. I already used more fat than the recipe calls for because I always do. What spoon should I use? All right. So this pan was already really hot, so you want to be careful when you add these things the onion doesn't start burning. Because onion has so much moisture in it, you're pretty safe. It's not like with garlic that could burn really, really quickly. Onion will be okay, but start stirring it around. But you want to get it translucent, but you're not looking for browning here. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, just a tiny bit. I think we can all remember back when I only seasoned one side of the shrimp, so probably need a little more. We're good. You can see that the onions are broken down. They've reduced in volume pretty significantly. So now you can add your marinara, 1.5 cups. Careful, could get splattered. I learned my lesson. I'm like, look how long this spoon is. I can cook from the other side of the room. You're supposed to simmer this for about 8 minutes, but this is a really wide pan, and I'm feeling like it's not gonna need 8 minutes. I'm feeling like it's gonna need like 3 minutes. You can add a little bit of creaminess to this by adding a couple tablespoons of heavy cream, which is nice. Stir it around, and then the shrimp can go back in. If there's any juices on the plate of the shrimp, add those back in, of course. Flavor is key, and those juices have a lot of flavor. And then stir everything around. You want to coat your shrimp with the creamy sauce. Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering. I'm gonna taste it right now. For you dairy-free folks out there, a coconut cream or a coconut milk stirred in instead of the cream would be really nice. I think that was a good amount. All right, if you are like milk sensitive like cream, but you're okay with dairy, turn the heat off and you can stir some yogurt in. It might look a little curdled, but it's really also quite delicious. Here I have some couscous. I'm gonna stir in a little bit of these scallions into the couscous, just sprinkle it on top. Some couscous, and then some of these shrimp. Oh man, you guys, yum. And then a little bit more scallion on top because that's festive. I'm pretty excited about this sort of new, interesting way to use marinara at home. When I taste this, I kind of feel like the recipe was inspired by like a tikka masala or something. Certainly not in any way authentic, but you're really evoking some of those flavors with the mix of the tomato and the ginger and the garam masala. And I think it's really, really delicious. Give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you take a picture of it, tag me. As always, if you like recipes like this and these videos, click like and subscribe. Cheers.